Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream that we're doing. I can't remember the last time we did a live stream. Actually, can I actually have a look when that was? It was August 26th, so about 2 weeks ago, if not maybe exactly 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. I can't count very well. But yeah, it was about then. That's when we live streamed last. Yeah, that just give you an update as in regards to how lazy I am in regards to live streaming. But welcome everyone that's in the chat. Hopefully having a good, most likely evening or night, but potentially afternoon and unlikely morning, because I don't know if anyone else will be up in the morning watching me right now. But welcome everyone that's coming in. There's some stuff to talk about. Obviously, the general thing, as you can see from the the title of the stream, we're going to be talking about some DC FanDome stuff. Because I'm very curious to see what you guys think and what your preferences are. That's probably the best way to call it. Heading into heading into this weekend, might I say, and what you're looking forward to watching first. So we'll discuss that, and yeah, that's pretty much. We'll do that, and then some other stuff that if people ask, we can do it. But welcome on that's coming in. UK, people from the UK, I can see there. Titan Season 3, when is it out? I'd have no idea. I'd have next year, I guess. But yeah. Just let me fix this thing up on my screen. Okay, there we go. I had things mixed up. But yeah, as I said, welcome everyone that's coming in. As per usual on the stream, try and keep the chat not as don't try and be an edgy person, if that's the best way to call it. But yeah, if you have a question that you want 100% answered, you can super chat by clicking the little Minecraft $ thingy-majiggy near the chat box, and yeah, that'll get your question 100% answered. But apart from that, just have a good time. But I can see India, people from there, Canada, someone else from Australia, San Jose, various things like that. So DC FanDome, actually, why didn't I? Well, this is just me being an idiot. I didn't prep it. If I go Chrome tab, there we go. Okay, I don't. Can you see that? Did it pop up? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so DC FanDome this weekend, I think is going to be very, very interesting. Because I think it has the potential to flop. And the main reason I say this, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with this, is that the reason that the first one was so successful, like that first weekend, whatever you want to call it, was because it was live. I think that's like the main, because if it was on demand last week, then you don't get the like various things trending and everything like that. Don't why spam the chat? Please don't spam the chat. If you yeah, it's just annoying. I didn't mean to click that open. Sorry. But yeah, so the reason I think it helped last time, whenever it was it 3 weeks ago or something like that? The reason it helped 3 weeks ago was because it was live, and it allowed certain things to trend, and everything was talking about the same thing online at the same time. But this time around, everything's on demand. So, oh, by the way, don't get freaked out or like as if you're tripping out. That's for me these times. So that's 3 a.m. for me. That's when it starts. So it says, so it's Sydney for me there. So if I went, I don't know, where would a lot of people live? I know New York. I can't type today. New York, America, New York. There you go. It goes to 1 p.m. It starts. But I'll go back to Sydney in Australia because that's where I'm from. And it's 3 a.m., which sucks. Have to wake up early. It's worse this time around as well because it is on demand. So some of the stuff at the beginning wasn't really overly worth talking about, if that makes sense, through whatchamacallit, YouTube and or streaming and stuff last time around. But this time, because it's on demand, you can choose what you want to watch first. But I am curious, like you can't really see on this schedule here. Actually, can I show my schedule? My schedule's pretty much got all the important DC TV stuff in there. Oh, but it's still got all this Hall of Heroes. Why didn't they take this off? Oh, they're hopeless. Anyway, I'll go back to the watch first. I think it's easier because it doesn't have all the other stuff from last time. Why would it still be on there? That's silly. But I know there was a super chat here. Just let me go back up and get it. From Silhouetted Animator, sorry, with the $5. Why can't I see this? Here we go. In all honesty, I just don't see DC getting rid of Jeff Johns no matter what comes out. He's been the brains behind a lot of DC's lore for years. Well, I'll quickly address this now because I'm sure a lot of people would have some sort of opinion on it or thoughts on it, might I say. I'll just quickly, for someone asking what day it is, I think it's Complex was asking that. It's this Saturday if you're in America. So if you're in America or even England, it'd be Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening for you. But if it's... Sorry, if you're spam, I'm just going to block you for 5 minutes. Like it's easy. It takes 2 clicks for me to do it. But yeah, if you're in America or England, it's pretty much Saturday afternoon. For me, it's 3 a.m. So, and like we're like ages ahead of everyone else. So for pretty much everyone, it's Saturday morning, afternoon, or night, somewhere in Saturday. Why are the spammers? Believe it or not, there's people that hate me for some reason. So they probably sit in a little room and fiddle with each other and then come on here and decide to spam. So I'm used to it. But anyway, in regards to this the question from Silhouetted Animator, in regards to this thing, obviously this is in regards to the Ray Fisher thing. I knew someone would ask about this, which is fine. I knew someone would ask it. I don't know what's going to happen here. I honestly don't. It's going to be curious and very interesting to see what happens with this whole thing. If you ask me, like, definitively whether I think anything's going to happen, I don't know. I'd probably say no. I'd honestly say no, because the big reason around this thing, and I think it's a thing that a lot of people forget, is that everyone that's being accused in this situation, outside of now Walter Hamada, so he's the only one, but everyone else, no one works for Warner Brothers. None of them work for Warner Brothers. They are affiliated with them, but none of them are actually employed by Warner Brothers. So I don't know exactly what happens. And the big issue is that this production took place almost 3 years ago. Oh, shit, over 3 years ago now. It's past that 3-year mark. The only one that could lose anything would be Jeff Johns, but I honestly would be surprised if anything happened here. Like, I know Momoa came out and said something, but he said like the most safe and some would say politically correct thing you could possibly say in regards to this situation. If you pretty much ask, you're going to get blocked. So it didn't take me too long there. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think if it was that serious, it wouldn't be plastered all over social media. That's probably the best way. If it was that serious, it would have been taken to court. So yeah, anyway. Thank you very, very much for the super chat anyway. Silhouetted Animator. Dan Campbell with the 30. Thank you very much for that, Dan. What? We can't spam the chat? Then where's the fun in this? I mean, aside from hearing about the Flash. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people come in here and just spam. Like, I don't know. It's weird because maybe it's because I'm not going directly through like YouTube, because there used to be like a chat refresh where you weren't able to spam. So maybe because I'm going through StreamYard, they don't have it. Maybe there's a setting for it. Can I do it? Guests. I'm just trying to see if I can block spamming. I can't see it here. So maybe I have to do it before I set up the stream. I'll have a look into it next time, because I'd find it weird if you weren't able to block spam. Anyway, I'll have to look into it next time. But I don't know. Now I learned that people want to just waste time doing that. And Robert Hearn with the £5. Hi, you do the best videos. Enjoy all of them. Thank you very much for that, Robert. P.S. Going to buy a Godspeed outfit. So high for Godspeed being the big bad next season. Do they sell Godspeed outfits? I guess they would. I guess the character would be popular enough. I guess if there's a market for people to buy, there would be them. You could probably make your own though if you couldn't buy one. I'm sure you'd be able to buy probably just a normal Flash outfit and probably just paint it white or something. Because the gold's pretty much in the same area, I think, for the Flash and Godspeed. For the most part, there's be some other areas where there's more gold on Godspeed. But yeah, I think you'd be able to do it. It wouldn't be too hard. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they do Godspeed, because will they go through his comic route or will they go a different area? It'll be interesting to see what they do overall, but I know I have to wait and see. But thank you very much for that, Robert. How do Why doesn't it let me do this? Okay, there we go. I think you have to turn on slow mode over inside the studio. Probably. I'll figure it out in between. I'll figure it out after this stream. I can't really be bothered doing it now. It's easy for me to just time people out if they spam anyway. Well, Godspeed's technically, so man asked, wait, Godspeed is a big bad. Correction. Yeah, thanks for pointing this out. Godspeed, from what we know at least, is the main threat / villain for the first half of season. What are we on? Season 7. So he's the threat up until I guess like episode 9, 10, whatever they're going to make the halfway point. That's where he's the threat / villain to. And then there's going to be someone else after. So that's what we're led to believe, though, because the important thing to remember is that confirmation from Eric Wallace was cut off in that shortened version of the first DC FanDome panel. So I guess by this weekend, after the Flash extended panel, where is that on here? Oh, it's all on demand, so it'll be alphabetical. Where is it? There we go. So there, the Flash extended panel, which goes for 40 minutes. This will be the where you'll get the full panel, so it won't be cut off. So I think we get like a full context as to what Eric Wallace said there. So that'll be where we find out exactly, I guess, where he's going to show up. But yeah. I don't even know what this says. I'm sorry. I don't understand what that says. So you can watch on demand anytime in those 24 hours. So yeah, anything here. Go. I guess I go home. Yeah, anything on these things right here. So these Kidsverse, Funverse, Uverse, Insiderverse, and Watchverse. What's in Hall of Heroes? Why would you keep that there? We've gone past that event. Unless you can go watch those panels again on demand. Maybe that's probably why they're there. I have no idea. But any of these panels here, so anything Black Lightning, Batwoman, you can choose. You can make your own schedule. So you can choose what you want to watch first. So if you want to watch the Legends of Tomorrow panel first, you can click on that and watch it first if you want to. If you want to watch, like, there's movies here. You can watch that new Superman Man of Tomorrow. I was a sucker and I bought it on iTunes, but you can watch the movie there for free. It's there for free. You can watch that new animated movie. My mouse deciding not to work. There we go. You can watch the animated movie for free if you want to watch that first. So there's Superman and Lois. So this is what I was going to jump into as well, because I know people would be curious around it. Shazam extended panel. Did I have that there? Or is that just you asking if there's one? I don't know if they'll include them because I'll think they had time to put them in there. So I know there's Hall of Heroes. Like, if you go to Shazam, it's still 10 minutes. I don't think they have that. They have like fan questions or something, which I think were they in the Insiderverse or something? I can't remember where they were. There was different ones where here we go, Wonder Woman 84 fan questions. So the cast and crew of Wonder Woman answer fan questions for 9 minutes, and then there's, I'm assuming there'd be a Suicide Squad one. Or not. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there, but there's the different things that they've got in there that are like part of the movie stuff that was there in the first weekend that isn't there anymore. But for those wondering like what you should watch, so obviously if you're a big fan of the Flash, fair enough, watch the Flash panel first. If you're an overall DC TV fan, I think the two panels that are most important to watch, because I think they're the two panels that actually will have something potentially to show. Batwoman, I think Batwoman's the big one, because I think obviously there's still a couple of days left and they might do public filming, which might lead them to actually have to reveal the suit online. But I think their planning or their hopes would be to show the first look at the suit in this panel. It goes for 40 minutes. It's a long panel, considering that they don't have a trailer to show either. So, and also it says it gives a sneak peek at season 2. So this could just be character casting and various things like that. But it could also be like a first look and everything like that as well, the suit, which would be I think, the big draw card to that panel. Obviously, it would be posted online afterwards. I don't know if it'd officially be posted by any of the accounts, though. So it'd have to be someone watching the panel that then takes a screenshot and posts it online. And the other one is obviously Superman and Lois, because I think they could potentially show the the first look at the Superman suit, because this goes for 30 minutes. And it just seems like they're just going to discuss the history of Superman from the comics to the screen, what fans can expect from the upcoming series, and the significance of the characters in the world of today. And then they're going to draw the Superman emblem. I don't know how that goes for 30 minutes without them actually diving into some information about the show, as well as potentially a first look at the suit, the new suit. Because I think they, like, when you get a new show like this, you're going to get funding to make a new suit. So I'm looking forward to potentially seeing that. But after those two, I think it's pretty much free reign. Like, Titans was one of the ones I thought you should watch, but I think they revealed pretty much all their information in their panel from FanDome, like the shortened one. So I think pretty much after Superman and Lois and Batwoman, I would say probably just go watch Flash. If you hadn't watched it yet, I'd say watch Flash next, because I think it'd be more info in more context than what we saw before. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they show overall in this extended version of the panels and everything like that. Do I think Katie Cassidy will get her own show on the CW? Probably not her own show where she's the lead. She'll probably have to lead with someone else. I don't think she'd get her own solo show. How much time is the Legends of Tomorrow panel? Where is it? 30 minutes? 35 minutes. 35. So they're 35. Stargirl is 35. What's another show? Already did Batwoman. Black Lightning, they're 35. Am I missing out any of the other? Doom Patrol is 35. I think pretty much they're all going to be 35 unless they're the bigger ones, and they're probably about 40. And that makes me think anything that's 40 probably has something to show. Definitely. Lucifer, if you watch Lucifer, he's only 20 minutes, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't have much. If you watch Pennyworth, that's 20 minutes. And is that it? In regards to, and Titans, the extended panel is 30 minutes. So Titans was already 15 minutes, their panel. So they only lost about half of their panel. So there's not much. I think they pretty much showed a lot of their stuff. Yeah, pretty much for FanDome Part 2, it's going to be No Sleep Gang 2.0. So hashtag No Sleep Gang. Silhouetted animated with the $5. Cool how we're getting the two live action Scarecrows at the same time. Titans and Batwoman. Any chance we'll get Harvey Dent and Batwoman? Well, I think on Titans it's been said that he's not. It's Scarecrow, but he doesn't look like Scarecrow. I think that's what they said. I think they said it's Jonathan Crane, but he's not. He's not Scarecrow at the point or something, or he was Scarecrow and he's not Scarecrow anymore. It's something along those lines. I think it was like one of the Entertainment Tonight or Entertainment Weekly revealed that information. So it's Scarecrow, but not Scarecrow, if that makes sense. And he's meant to be like more of like a serial killer. So I'll be interested to see what they do there in regards to all of that with him. But I think on Batwoman, it's probably going to be a more conventional Scarecrow. But that's for us to wait and find out, because you can do Scarecrow without the mask if you really, really want to. But I don't know if it's going to be on the level of like what Gotham did with Scarecrow, because they pretty much did like a comic book accurate Scarecrow in regards to how he looked and stuff. So I don't know if you're going to get that on Titans or Batwoman or both. But yeah, maybe. Overlord Kinsey asked, Paige, who's your pick to portray August Hart if he gets recast? Well, I think it depends. Like, I think if they're going to show the face a lot, then I think he's going to get recast. Like, no offense to the actor that played him in, what was it, season 5 of The Flash. I just don't think I think he's like an extra actor, and like him probably playing Godspeed was probably one of the bigger things he's done. And I think he said one line. So I think if he's going to have any sort of face role, like he's not going to have a mask on for even just, I think, like one full episode or something like that, they'll recast. It'll be interesting. I wonder if they would, because BD Wong, if you don't know who BD Wong is, I'm sure you know, just type in BD Wong on Google. He played like Hugo Strange on Gotham. He was in Oz. He's in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. You'd know him when you see his face. Like, he's the voice of Godspeed. So I wonder if they recast August Hart, they'd make him August Hart. I wonder if they would do that. Like, I get he is a bit older, but he doesn't look old. Like, he doesn't look as old as his age actually is. So they could get him if they wanted to. I'm sure he'd be keen to do it. I don't think he'd protest against it. So I think BD Wong wouldn't be too bad of a choice if they wanted to just put August Hart on screen. I don't have outside of that, I don't really have a pick. And I wouldn't say BD Wong is necessarily my pick, but I wouldn't be against it if they put him in there because he already voices Godspeed when he's in the mask anyway. So why not just have him talk normally, like talk in his normal voice, I guess, if he played the face of Godspeed as well. Paige, what will... Oh, sorry. Anthony with the $2. I'll get to these first. So no more Hush and Batwoman and Bruce Wayne face. I think they said that Bruce Wayne, or the guy that... I can't remember his name off the top of my head now. Warren Christie. They said he was... I think he's still in season 2. So I think he's still going to be... I think they might change what his story was going to be, though. I think that's what they'll change there. I don't know necessarily how they'll change it. I think they'll... Because I don't think it's too much of an issue with Alice in season 2 of Batwoman, because I think they can just make it, oh, well, Batwoman was me to fight against and it was my sister and stuff, so she could channel or change that anger or channel that anger into another source, that being the new Batwoman. And with the Bruce Wayne face, it's Hush, so he could just have his own motives and stuff. But I think the issue with that is that you're probably not going to get Bruce Wayne coming back at all now. I think if Kate stayed on the show, or Kate was the main Batwoman still, there was a chance that he would show up still, like just normal Bruce Wayne. But now I'd say that that's probably not going to happen anymore. It could still happen, but I just don't think they'd be rushing to do it like they would have before if Kate stayed on the show. But yeah, don't expect him to go. I think he'll stay. I think just they just might change his story a tiny bit in regards to what he was going to do. Here we go. Paigey, what will the Superman and Lois panel show? Well, it's them talking about Superman in live action. I think mainly on television and his history there, because Superman's been on television a lot. And then they're going to draw the Superman thing. I think that's going to be like a tiny segment. I think it's going to be like, oh, here's how you draw the Superman symbol. It's going to be a quick one. The main thing is the new suit. I think they will. I'd be surprised if they didn't, because they were like a week or two away from filming the pilot for Superman and Lois. So that new suit would be done if there's going to be a new suit. And let's be honest, the suit he has at the moment isn't bad, but it's definitely not like on the level like the other characters have, like Supergirl, Batwoman, Flash, and all the leads of their shows have. It's not like a lead character costume in regards to time spent on it and everything like that. So, yeah, I think we'll be getting a new suit. Longer Tommy Elliott arc than originally intended. It could go either way. It could be shorter or it could be longer. I'm pretty confident in saying it's not going to be the same. But thank you very much for that silhouetted animator with the $2. Paige, when do you think Red Death will show up? Oh yeah, by the way, we're just going to turn this into a general Q&A now, because we've already pretty much gone over all the topics. Unless anyone has any specific questions about FanDome and this schedule and you want to go back into, I'll leave it up there. I might scroll to the top just so you can, if you want to see that top few panels there on the side. Yeah, if you have any questions around that, let me know. But we'll just turn this into a general Q&A for the rest of the stream, just because I haven't done a live stream for a bit. But Rajni, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Paige, when do you think Red Death will show up? Maybe in the next season of The Flash or any other season? When do you think he'll show up? He could potentially be in this season if they really wanted to. It's just that if they do Red Death, it's going to be a change up from the comics. It's not going to be, I think, Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen or the Flash and Batman of that Earth like merged together like it is in the comics. They'll do something else. They could do that if they could prove me wrong. I just don't see them doing it. I find it hard to see how they could have done that. But I think he could show up in the show, and it could be. The thing is, I think the Flash is probably going to go to season 9. I think that's not. I'm not saying it's confirmed. It just seems that that's what they're going to get to. Season 9 will be the final season. That's just when I expect it to be, which would be fairly fitting because I think they would get to 200 episodes. Would they? If they got to season 9, would they get to 200 episodes? I think they would. I think they'd just get to 200 episodes. Maybe they just fall just shy. I'm not too sure exactly. Sort of very curious now when they get to 200 episodes. Actually, I know, you know what? I think because of Corona, if they get to season 9, they actually wouldn't hit 200 episodes. If Corona wasn't a thing, they would hit 200 episodes with season 9. I think with Corona, I think they will just fall short by a couple of episodes. They'll end up on like 190 something. But yeah, I think they'll get to season 9. Back to this question, I know why I got thrown off there, but I wouldn't guarantee it in regards to Red Death showing up. It's just that he's such a character. He's a character which he's a speedster, so that falls in line with, people just want speedster villains. And also you could do something interesting with him where he could be a past person on the show if they wanted to, or like a fragmented version. It could be a character from another show if they wanted to. But I wouldn't have any ideas to specifically when he would show up, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I think it'd be someone that they're definitely keeping in mind, and I don't think they'd name drop him in that previous season if they didn't have any thoughts in regards to when he would show up. Did I answer this thing up here? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, all good. Paige, when does Flash start? It's in January sometime. I'm sure they might start a bit earlier. They might start middle of January, usually a mid-season premiere slot, so that what would they call it? Is it the spring start? Whenever it is, whatever it is, or I don't even know what it's called. Whenever they start at the end of January, the mid-season start. That's usually at the end of January, but I could see them making it the middle of January just because, let's be honest, they have a lot of stuff to get through. Like, really, next year is going to be sort of insane in regards to how much TV there's going to be on the screen, especially if all these shows get like 17 plus, maybe up to like 20 episodes per season. Like, it's gonna, next year there's not going to be any breaks. You're going to get, the shows will end like just before Comic-Con, because you'd think Comic-Con will be on next year. But it's actually insane how much TV there's going to be next year. It's going to be, yeah, I think the only word I can actually use to describe it is insane. Kay Jones asked, do you know what is going to happen to Black Lightning? I don't know, because I haven't heard any updates in regards to what's happening with their filming. They film in Atlanta, which I think was a hotspot, or is still a hotspot, but shows are starting, like they're about to start filming shows in Atlanta very soon. Like Stephen Amell has his new wrestling show, which I think starts filming very soon as well, maybe like within the next week or two, or maybe it's already started. I'm not too sure. So that film's in Atlanta, so that's going ahead. And Black Lightning does premiere alongside like Flash, Superman and Lois, Batwoman, all those shows. It'll have to start filming by October, like sometime in October, whether it's the beginning or even towards the end. They'll have to start filming by then to get episodes out. But I'm sure we'll hear updates on that within the next month, because as I said, that's like the period where they'd have to start filming. But at this time, we don't know, because Stargirl falls in that area as well. They film in Atlanta as well, but Stargirl doesn't premiere till like middle of next year, so they have much more leeway in regards to getting episodes done. Gleek. I'm not going to say that more than one time because I'd probably get tongue twisted. When is DC's Legends of Tomorrow filming again? I miss Katie Lotz, aka Sarah, and who is leaving the show. I don't think anyone's leaving. I think everyone's staying on the show outside of like Ray, who already left, and Nora. I think they start filming. Like around the same time as The Flash. It's either like on the same day or within the same week or something like that. So they start filming beginning of October, I think it is. So about a month from now. But they won't be premiering until middle of next year, like with Stargirl and Supergirl. So we probably won't get anything promo-wise from them for a while. Like, I think we'll be waiting a while to get any sort of footage or trailers or anything like that. So yeah. Do you think Superman and Lois / Batwoman crossover? Is that asking if I think it will still happen? It's still going to happen. I think they've said that it's still happening, and that it's too much of a what do you call it? The yearly crossover is too big of a thing, so they'll keep it around. I just don't know when it's going to happen, though. I would say it's probably going to happen in the back half of their seasons, just because Batwoman has the role, or has the job, might I say, of introducing this new character, and Superman and Lois as a show is brand new. They have to introduce their story and even new characters as well. So both of those shows are in like a building period, whether it's a rebuild or just a new build. So they wouldn't be rushing that crossover in the first half. I'd expect it in the back half somewhere. Paige, they actually removed the Man of Steel, the Man of Tomorrow free premiere, but I complained on DC Universe, and an admin responded and said they're sorry, I'll go back for us. Oh, okay. Well, I was wondering because it's still called the world premiere on that thing, so maybe they should change it because it's not the world premiere. But thank you very much, Logo Pete, if you did do that. What about Green and the Canaries? Who knows? I would be surprised if that show even happens now. Yeah. Paige, why do the CW show writers write episodes whilst in production? Most shows write the scripts first and then start production. Because it's not much fold over. Because you got to remember they got to read the room or read the community after a season ends. This year will be different. I think Eric Wallace has already said they've got a lot of their season already done, but you got to adapt to what what your fans want. They get into season and no one would liked it. Like the best example of this is Arrow's season 5. Arrow's season 4 sucked. It was the lowest of the lowest for any of these CW shows, I think, in regards to what the show could have been and what the show was. They if they started writing season 5 during season 4, while season 4 was still airing and stuff, and trying to get all season 5 done, you don't get a good season 5. You just don't. You get something else. The backlash from season 4, and let's be honest, the hate that season got and everything they did there led to them making a good season 5 and sort of like going, oh crap, we've stuffed up here and buckling down and writing something well and writing something good. So you got to adapt to certain things. You got to remember a lot of other shows only have like 8 or 10 episodes. They're not dealing with 20 plus episodes of network TV. Not much network TV has every single episode written. They're writing not on the go, but they're only writing like 3 or 4 episodes ahead of time. The only shows you'll really see where they'll have all episodes done are like shows that have like 8 or 10 episodes, like a mini series or like a Netflix show or something. And a lot of the times with those things is because they've got to write the entire show and sort of like pitch it as well. So it's a different thing. I think you're really thinking of like the small, like those shows with less episodes. Any sort of network television writes like 3 or 4 episodes ahead of time. They're not writing the entire season first. So I'm just looking through the chat. Season 6 of The Flash has already aired. I'm not sure what that's in response to. Grace asked, are the Flash cast in quarantine right now? I'm not too sure about like Grant and like Candace and stuff like that, but I know that Brandon McKnight, who plays Chester, and the girl, what's her name? Kayla, I think her name is, who plays Allegra. They're both in Vancouver, and I think have finished their quarantine. But it's important to remember they're now full time on the shows. They're going to be in pretty much every episode. So I think, especially with that Brandon McKnight, he was only in like a handful of episodes last season, so he would have been staying in a hotel whenever he was up there. But now, because they're full time, they would have had to get like apartments and stuff like that and sort themselves up. So I think they had to get up there early to sort all of that out. I'm not too sure if the other people that were already mains on there, like I don't know if Grant's up there, if Candace is up there, if Tom Cavanaugh's up there, if Carlos is up there, various things like that. Oh, Grant and his wife are in Vancouver. Okay, so. And also Candace posted on some stuff on Instagram, which made it seem like she was heading up there. But I think those other, like the 2 I mentioned before, had to get up there earlier because they had stuff to sort out. So they have to be up there. All of them have to be up there pretty much now, I think, by now, because they can't just start filming as soon as their quarantine ends. They'd have to do some stuff before that, like costume fittings and various things like that. So, yeah. This is what I saw. He posted like the thing where like Key Mini's new place in Vancouver. I think I saw that. I think it was this morning. My memory's fading me. That's not very good if I can't remember if it was this morning or not. But yeah. Do I think Stargirl will cross over with the other CW shows? If COVID wasn't a thing, I would say 100% it would happen this season. I wouldn't be able to say if it's definitely going to happen this year. Like I think they want it to happen, but like if there's still like the 2-week quarantine thing, it's not worth the time. It's just not worth the time if someone has to do quarantine somewhere, and it would most likely, if this was going to happen, I think the episode would most likely be the Flash. I think it'd be a Flash episode, but it'd be him going to Stargirl's Earth, and it'd be set in Blue Valley, that crossover. Although I guess they could, no, I don't think they want to interrupt a Stargirl season, so I think they could use a Flash episode to him go over there, and it'd be the Flash episode, but set in Blue Valley. But just if there's still quarantine involved, I just don't see that happening. But who knows? Next year, quarantine could be lifted come January or February. You don't have to do it anymore, and then they'd easily be able to do it. So I think it's a wait and see, but I don't think it's as likely as it would have been if there was no COVID. How many millions of dollars approximately does an Arrowverse show have for budget? I think the Flash has like it very. I think it's about 60 million per season, so it averages out to just below 3 million an episode. Like Arrow had less, but Arrow didn't use a lot of. Like Arrow probably had more budget for set stuff, like where they could film, because they didn't spend a lot of money on visual effects because a lot of their stuff was practical. But I think for Flash, I don't know about the other shows, but I think Supergirl had, I think, a tiny bit bigger of a budget than Flash, but Flash has about 60 million. So it averages about to just under 3 million an episode, or on 3 million. So if someone asks you how much does an episode of The Flash cost to make, I would just say 3 million. Or if you want to really average it out, like 2.5 to 3, somewhere around that. But it's important to remember that they don't get the budget just for a season. It's like, oh, okay, here's season number 7 of The Flash. Here's 60 million. Do as many episodes as you want. They get 60 million because they're making 22, 23 episodes. So if they're only making 13, they'd probably only get maybe 40 million or like 35 or something like that. So, yeah. So before that jumps to like another question, we're like, oh, well, they make less episodes for more budget per episode. It doesn't work like that. Okay, here we go. Alex with the $10. Thank you very much for that. You need a Stargirl intro for those specific videos. I know I've heard people. I'm probably gonna contact the guy that made my Flash intro, because I'm pretty sure he has a Stargirl intro. I think he's made a Stargirl intro before, so I might contact him and get that done. But yeah, I'll get that done. Hopefully within like the next month or so. So whenever you see a Stargirl video, it'll have that new intro. Captain J10 with the $2. Do you think Steven will return for a cameo or crossover? There'd have to be a good reason for it. I don't think he'd return just for the sake of it. I think it'd have to be a good reason. I don't think it'd be like, hey, Steven, show up just so you can be there for the sake of it. It'd be like, well, no. Yeah, I think he would need a good reason for it. I think he'd return if it was like a multiverse version of himself. I don't think he'd return if it was just like, oh, he's risen from the dead or something like that. I don't think they'd do that, but I think that'd be a good reason for him to come back. But I think he'd do it if there was that good reason. Kathy with the $10. Thank you very much for that, Kathy. Do you think for the final season of The Flash, Iris will be pregnant, so we'll leave the door open for a spin-off with their kids? In regards to the final season of The Flash, I think Iris will get pregnant, and I think she'll give birth within like the last... I don't know if they do in the finale. There might be just too much going on that finale for her to give birth then, but I think she'll give birth in that final portion of the season in the series. Like, let's say somewhere in the final 3 episodes or something like that. I think that will definitely happen. That's my prediction. In regards to it leaving open the door for a spin-off, I don't know if they do that necessarily. They could. I don't know if they would. But I think what you'll see is that they'll have, when Iris gives birth, it'll be the Tornado Twins. And I've said this before in other streams, but I think the ending of the Flash series as a whole would be seeing like the legacy of the Flash and the Flash family and stuff. So you see different speedsters throughout time. So you see Wally, you see Jay Garrick, and then you see in the future you might see like the 2 Tornado Twins, and then you might see Bart Allen. They could get someone to play Bart Allen in the future in like a quick scene, and then you'd see like maybe the multiverse version. You see like Max Mercury or whatever it might be, Jesse Chambers potentially, maybe one from Stargirl, something like that. You'd see a cool little segment of that towards the end. That's how I would finish the show, to show like the legacy of the Flash and the Flash family. That'd be my perfect ending. They could do a spin-off. It just matters what the landscape is of the don't crucify me in the comments, but the landscape of the CW verse come that period. That'd be like 2022, 2023 or something like that. So if the spin-off is going to work with the kids or these tornado twins and it isn't just a rehash of the Flash, then they could do it. But I just don't see if I don't think it'd be something that's guaranteed. But thank you very much for the question, Kathy. Paige, which panels do you want to see the most? I want to see the rest of that Flash panel, obviously, just for context in regards to a lot of the questions I was brought up. But I do want to, I really want to watch those Batwoman and Superman and Lois panels just because I think they're going to show things. And I'm interested in the Stargirl panel as well to see if they reveal any information. Yeah. So I'm just going through the chat. Legend should be a multiverse traveling show now instead of time travel. I've been saying that since I think in season 3. It should have been multiverse. It should have gone into multiverse travel. Would have been so cool. I don't know how they didn't. They missed the opportunity there. I think they wanted to keep it time travel because I think they pretty much want to make it like a Doctor Who type of thing. But it should have been multiverse travel from season 3 onwards. But they dropped the ball, never did it. So what can you do? Quendolin with the $5. Thank you very much for that. How do you think they will balance both Chester and Cisco with them both being tech support based characters? Hopefully Cisco doesn't take a back seat. That's what I'm very curious about. I think a lot of people would be very curious about it because I think when we heard that Chester was going to be, when they sort of kept Chester at the end of season 1, they kept him there as if like he was going to return in some way. It was like, okay, is he being set up to replace Cisco? Because it just seems like he's a Cisco replacement. But now we come into season 7 and they're both series regulars. So it'll be interesting. It is important to remember that Caitlyn's probably going to be gone for a bit. So they could use Chester as like a sort of like replacement use Chester as a replacement for Caitlyn in regards to like conversations with Cisco. But once Caitlyn's back, I don't know what you do with the 3 C's, Chester, Caitlyn, and Cisco. I don't know what they do necessarily with that trio. Because Cisco and Chester are just so similar in regards to what the character serves on the show, I guess. But it'll be interesting. It is important to remember, and I've said this a couple of times, that Chester P. Runk is like one of Eric Wallace's favorite characters from the comics, so he's not going to want to bring that character onto the show and like dilute the character and not have him have screen time. So yeah, it's actually interesting. Eric Wallace came in as showrunner, and the first 2 characters he really introduced in some sort of main capacity were Chester P. Runk, his favorite character, one of his favorite characters from the comics, and Allegra Garcia, who, if people didn't know this, he created that character in the comics. Eric Wallace has written comics, and he created Allegra in the comics, and he brought it onto the show. So that's fairly interesting. So that's probably, if you're wondering why they wanted to make those 2 characters main characters in the show, that would explain it. Mateo, all hail CW verse. You have a new target, everyone. Mateo, no, I'm only joking. I don't know. The CW verse is, I don't have that much of an issue with it. I understand why they're doing it, but I'm never actually going to legitimately call it the CW verse. I'll just call it Arrowverse or stuff like that. Zazman Reviews with the $2. Could the Flash set up another show like Arrow? Like another spin-off? With the characters it has now, I don't think it'd be setting up any sort of spin-off. But I'm interested to see what the next show in the Arrowverse would be post Superman and Lois, because I don't think any of us were expecting it was going to be Superman and Lois they were going to be bringing in, but it was cool when they announced it. Obviously, Green Arrow and the Canaries is there, but I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I don't know. You could argue that maybe all the spin-offs going forward could stem from Stargirl. Maybe that's where all the spin-offs could stem from, because there is a world there that they could build off Stargirl. But I don't know what the next spin-off would be. If you have any ideas in regards to what the next spin-off could legitimately be, feel free to let me know in the chat, because I'm actually very curious to what you think it could be. I really disagree with that. Eric Wallace did not ruin the Flash. He actually sort of gave it a bit of a rebirth. So disagree with that, Yusuf. No offense. Gary with the $2, is Flash getting delayed later than January? Like every other stream, Gary, no. It won't be getting delayed. Green Arrow and the Canaries flop so hard. I'm just surprised they're keeping it in sort of like this I don't even know what you would call it. Like, what would you even call it? Like some sort of like vegetative state. Like it's just sitting there, nothing's happening with it. It doesn't seem like it's alive, but they're keeping it on like life support. I don't know what's happening there. I honestly don't know what's happening here with that show. I wish they'd make a definitive statement, just because I feel bad for the people that really want that show to happen, because they kept in like some sort of hope that it's going to happen, and like it could happen, but it seems like it's not. So I don't know why they just wouldn't give like a final thing like, no, it's not happening. However, I must say, I think Corona being a thing is actually sort of keeping this show going, or like keeping the chances of it coming, um, alive. So it'll be interesting. I think that I'm surprised I haven't made an announcement yet, because they said May, like the month of May was going to be when they announced it, and that was like what, 4 or 5 months ago. So we're still waiting. A Vixen show, it might be expensive though. Vixen, maybe. It depends where you set it, I guess. They could do what they did, where she was like, what city was she in? Was she in Seattle or something? I remember when we first meet her in Arrow season 3 or 4. I think it was 4. Was it 4? Or was it 3? It was 3 or 4. I think she was in Seattle. I can't remember what city she was in, actually, now that I think about it. But a Vixen show wouldn't be too bad. Just matters where they set it, I guess. It'd be like the modern day Vixen, not the one from Legends. Paige, do you think there's a chance Icicle will return to Stargo? Do you really think he's dead for good? Well, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Stargo yet. The only character that Jeff Johns would confirm that died in that finale was Brainwave, and I guess that's another spoiler. So sorry if you haven't watched Stargo yet, but it's been out for a while. The only character he would confirm that actually died was Brainwave, which is weird because Dragon King got hashtag yeeted in the back, and Icicle got hashtag smashed by a car. So it's weird that Brainwave was the only one he would confirm, but then again, I guess he got his throat slashed, so you're pretty much dead. You're not surviving that. So it'll be interesting. I guess Icicle could melt and then come back together and then get cold again. I don't know what could happen there. And Dragon King got stabbed in the back, but it wasn't like, stabbed in the brain or anything like that. So who knows? Where can I watch Stargirl? It's on DC Universe, but you can go to the CW app. So if you have like the CW app on your iPad, or is it on like Apple TV, or like Roku or Fire Stick and stuff? You can watch it for free on there, or you just go to cw.com, I guess, and you can watch it there. Gary with the $2. Do you think Flash could not go on break until episode 8? I don't know. I honestly have no idea in regards to when it would go on break, if it even went on break. They have to go on break during March, because there's the basketball, the March Madness. And it's like with Batwoman and just Batwoman, I guess. They'd have to go on break at some point because like the Super Bowl and the NFL would be on. So they'd have to go on break at some point for a week or two because of the football. And Flash and Superman as well would have to go on break at some time during the middle of the week because of March Madness. So there'll be some break, but I don't think there's going to be a straight up mid-season break like we would normally get. Like the season's going to play through pretty much the entire way through. It's not going to be too many extensive breaks. Scott with the $5. Do you think we'll get at least one more big crossover with the Arrowverse Justice League? Yeah, it just won't be this season. I think we'll be waiting until what year are we in? Is it 2017 yet? No, it's 2020. So we're waiting until, well, I guess the end of next year, maybe they'll do it, unless they needed to push it back into the beginning of 2022. But I guess maybe end of next year, like where you normally get a crossover, we'd get it then, but it won't be this season just because of what's going on. But they did say that the Arrowverse show, like the Superman and Batwoman crossover, would have some of the lead characters from the other shows there as well. So I would expect Flash probably show up, maybe Sarah, and I guess Supergirl as well. It just matters in what capacity though. Jamesy with the €2. Thank you very much for that. Love the videos. Could we get a reverse Flash show? I don't know if we get a reverse Flash show. I think your best chance at any sort of like reverse Flash focus thing would be like an episode in maybe the last season of the Flash. I'd love to see like a reverse Flash Origins arc or episode, whatever they wanted to do, where it shows like his obsession with the Flash, how he became reverse, like how he got his speed, how he became reverse Flash, how that hate like that and like that rivalry and just the hate he had for the Flash started and everything like that. I think it'd be very cool if you showed something like that. And you could probably do that as like one of the last episodes of the entire show. So like with like 2 or 3, maybe 4 episodes to go in the final season, you do that episode and then it builds up to like that night where he kills Barry's mother. I think that'd be fairly cool if they did that. Who's the Flash movie villain? Savitar? I don't think you'd be seeing Savitar in the Flash, any sort of cinematic thing. Well, they said it's not Reverse Flash, so I'd have no idea. To be completely honest. It could be anyone. It could be someone random. It could be someone that's not necessarily a Flash villain. Or they could do some obscure villain, sorry, and just make him a bit OP because of Flashpoint. Will they find out about the multiverse? I think they will. I think Barry will find out this season at some point. It just matters when. I'm curious to see what they do. Maybe they do it because of the villain. Maybe the villain has something to do with it, but I think they'll find out about it. Who do you think the main villain is after the Mirror Master? It's Godspeed. They revealed in the FanDome panel that the next main threat after Mirror Master is Godspeed. But that's for the first half of season 7. We don't know who the back half villain is. So, or at least we're led to believe it's the first half villain. But it probably is. So we'll have to wait and see who it is in the back half. It could be someone that stems from Godspeed, or it could be something completely unrelated. But we might have to wait a bit until they reveal that. Because we didn't know Mirror Master was even in this season until I think it was the mid-season break. I think it was like in December or January that news came out that the actress had been cast as Mirror Master, or she'd been cast as Eva McCulloch. So we didn't know until then what was going on with the back half of The Flash for season 6. So we might be waiting a while for any news in regards to the back half thread for season 7. Geek information with the $5, a Bebo show. Honestly, it would not surprise me if they did. Like they could honestly do like Sesame Street with Bebo, and for some reason people would watch it. Not gonna lie, I would probably watch it. Not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It'd probably be some like super guilty pleasure viewing. It's just like the Bebo show. I have no idea what they'd even talk about. But it's a possibility. Where will Titan season 3 be available to watch? Well, it's confirmed for HBO Max, like it's going to be there, but I don't know if it's also going to air on DC Universe, like the most recent season of Doom Patrol did. It was sort of confusing, that statement from Jim Lee, because he just said, "Oh yeah, all the DC Universe programming will move to HBO Max," but it was like, well, hold on, does that mean all the shows that were still there are still going to air there as well, or is it all to HBO Max? It was sort of like a weird statement. It was a bit unclear. I would assume that Titan season 3 will also be on DC Universe as well as HBO Max, but after that, that'll be it. That would have been the last live action show to air on DC Universe, and everything else and then all of it will move to HBO Max, but who knows? But if you are outside of America, then Netflix is where Titans will be. Gamerman X9000 with the $5. Thank you very much for that. I always call it the Arrowverse because Smallville and Stargirl are not in that continuity. Yeah, I guess, but it's important to remember everyone called like Supergirl Arrowverse before it had what do you call it, crossed over with the Flash. They still called it part of the Arrowverse even at that point. I don't know why, because there was no real connection at that point, but they still called it that. So as soon as the Flash crosses over with Stargirl, it's Arrowverse. That doesn't necessarily mean it's in the Arrowverse, but it's connected to the Arrowverse. And Smallville has crossed over in some way, so it's not necessarily in the Arrowverse, but it's connected to the Arrowverse, which is what Supergirl was before it officially merged in, and same with Black Lightning. So it's a weird thing. I think I'm not going to, jump too deep into in regards to like what it should specifically be called. I guess you just call it DC TV, but yeah. Will there be Greenland HBO news at DC FanDome? I'd hope so. God, I thought they were going to announce something about it at the first one, but they didn't announce anything here. the thing is that there's no panel. Like if we scroll through here, we got League of One. Like some of these are replays. Like that's a replay. That boss thing. I think that's a replay. Like there's nothing here. Like there's no like surprise. Surprise DC TV panel or anything like that. I'm just scrolling through just in case I missed something. Italy loved DC. Latin America celebrates DC. There's like nothing here in regards to like a surprise DC panel. They're showing an episode of Static Shock. What are they showing? It doesn't say what episode they're showing. They're just showing a random episode. Okay. There's nothing here like no surprise DC TV panel or anything like that, which is sort of I'm surprised I was not even just not the Green Lantern show, like even stuff around like Strange Adventures and everything like that. I'm surprised they're not doing anything like that. Does the multiverse still exist? It still exists. It's just that they don't know about it yet. So we know, like I think that's the reason they showed us stuff at the end of the Crisis crossover. Say like it's still there, and also I think Greg Berlanti said it in that multiverse panel at FanDome that it still exists. It's just a new multiverse than what was there before. So it's going to have to be explored again in some way. And I think if you take away the multiverse, you take away just some creativity possibilities with a lot of the shows, especially The Flash. So I think it still exists. It just matters when they discover it again. And it'll be interesting to see like what the reason is that they want the show to discover it again. It could be a villain or it could be a character. Regardless, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Gary with the $5. Could Flash go on break after 3 episodes because the last 3 episodes are now the first 3 episodes? No. I think I said this in the last live stream. Whatever the last 3 episodes were going to be from last season are now the 3 episodes to start off the season. Only the first episode is, and even then it won't be either because they've got to rewrite some of the Ralph stuff. So Eric Wallace has said is that the episodes that would have been the last 3, story elements from that will be in the first 3 episodes, but they're going to rework some stuff in there that will set up some stuff for season 7. So you'll see some stuff that would not have been in there originally now in there because it's going to play into season 7 more. So there won't be a break. The earliest break you'll see is something around March Madness, which would be like episode 6, maybe. I think 5 or 6 around that. And that won't be an intentional break. It'll just be that they can't air the episode during that week. So yeah. Do you think we'll get a version of Infinite Crisis as a future crossover? Potentially, because that's like the follow-on from Crisis on Infinite Earth. So they could if they wanted to. I think they've sort of said they sort of want to do like original crossovers, not necessarily do like adaptations from the comics. But there's a couple there that I think would be fairly cool. Like obviously, Crime Syndicate is one that I want to see, but it doesn't have to be a straight up adaptation from what we saw in from what we saw in the comics. I'd rather just see like use the Crime Syndicate and make your own story around it. Like don't do like the whole, even like the Crisis on 2 Earths and stuff like we saw in the animated movie and stuff. Wasn't there supposed to be a surprise movie announcement? No, there was meant to be a surprise. It was just called like a TBA panel or something like that. And then there was a surprise DC Comics panel, which was the Milestone thing where they said the Milestone comics are coming back into the world. Yeah, there was never a surprise movie announcement. I think that was I think that was just Twitter not reading the schedule properly because it never said surprise movie announcement. It said surprise DC Comics panel, and then it was like TBA announcement or something like, or TBA panel, and then they took away the TBA panel. I have no idea what that would have originally been, but yeah. So I'm just going through the chat. Is the show that was said to have Booster Gold in it on DC FanDome? Was there a show that was meant to have Booster Gold in it? Are you thinking of Strange Adventures? That's Adam Strange, but Booster Gold could be in there. Oh, actually, was that the show that they said Booster Gold was potentially going to appear in? No, boost. There was a booster gold thing, and I think it was actually connected to Strange Adventures, but I think it was said that like he was going to be one of the focuses of an episode or something like that. But we haven't heard anything about Strange Adventures at all since it was announced. So we've heard like little tidbits about the Green Lantern show. So I'm interested to see like how it works out and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to this Green Lantern show, but man, it'd be a hard task. I don't think it's going to be an easy show to do. So I'm just going through the chat again. What games are you going when they come out? What games are you getting, you mean? I don't know. I bought the new Avengers game, that Marvel Avengers game. I haven't played heaps of it. I think I'm about halfway through the campaign, or maybe like just under halfway through, because I've been doing a lot of the side missions. I'm like one of those people that does side missions on games just because I think you get more playability out of it. I really want to buy the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered. It looks super fun. I loved that game when I was growing up. I used to play the hell out of it. Did anyone? Oh no! Hold on. Bit of a sidetrack. Did anyone ever play Tony Hawk's Underground? Did anyone ever play the Tony Hawk's Underground game? I used to love that game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3, and then Tony Hawk's Underground 1, and I think there was a 2 as well. Love those games. Billy the Kid Lawrence from the $5. If you hate cancel culture and support Hartley Sawyer, help get a billboard for Hartley's rehiring. Google GoFundMe Hartley Sawyer. It's the first result. Well, there you go. If you want to support that, you can. What is it? Google GoFundMe Hartley Sawyer. It's the first result. I was actually going to make a video on this. Actually, let me know if you want me to, because I was actually meant to bring it up, and Billy's super chat here just sort of like sprung it back into my head. People have been asking me to go make a video more in detail around the Hartley Sawyer situation in regards to whether it was right or wrong, I guess you could say. I don't really want to jump into that conversation just because I think you just sort of, I don't want to say beating a dead horse, but I think you are. Like, it would be me if I'd made that video, might I say. But I do think that just on this thing, just because I don't think I'm going to make this video, just a quick summary of these thoughts. There's a lot of hypocrisy, I think, around Warner Brothers in regards to this, because of this whole thing that's going on now with the Ray Fisher stuff, and then also the Ezra Miller stuff, the Amber Heard stuff, and then this Hartley Sawyer stuff. There's a lot of hypocrisy around it. So whatever they're going to do, I'd rather them just make it clear what side they stand on, where everyone gets fired or no one gets fired. I'd love if they actually made that decision. I know everything should be treated on a case-by-case basis, but man, it's all over the joint. I might make the video, but I don't want to rush into it, if you know what I mean. It won't be like my next video or anything. I might release it I'd honestly prefer to wait until after whatever is happening now with this Justice League drama, and even Ezra Heard. God, that'd be a combo. Ezra Miller and stuff. But yeah, if you want to do that for Billy, you can do that. Well, someone's asked, like, what's your opinion about Ray? This will be the last thing as well. I'll end the stream after this. But thank you. Before we end the stream, I'd like to thank everyone that had a chat during the stream. If you could leave a like on the stream, it'd be awesome, because I think I'll leave this video up. Yeah, if you super chat, it was great if you did that. But someone asked, what's your opinion about Ray Fisher's drama and Snyder's cut? In regards to the Snyder cut, I'm happy that Snyder gets to do his thing, because it can close the book. That's the only thing I'm hopeful for, is that Snyder makes it clear that, like, yo, this is it, and he doesn't try and release the Snyder Cut 2.0, because I don't think anyone has the mental capacity to go through that again. But in regards to this Ray Fisher drama, everything's so vague. Like, there's been no evidence yet provided. I don't think you can side with anything. I think if you want to be smart, sit in the middle. Sit in the middle, because if you choose a side, I think you're going to end up with egg on your face regardless, just because there's no real evidence there. Yeah, it's all he said, she said, they say. It's all they said. It's all hearsay. So yeah, there's nothing there. Like, even the Momoa stuff came out today. Like, as I said earlier in the stream, it was the most. I think everyone was expecting Momoa to say something, and even then, he said less than what people thought he was going to say. And he posted the most like PC and basic thing he possibly could have. I was actually surprised it wasn't like a statement, but it was just that. So, and also Momoa's work with Jeff Johns and John Berg post Justice League. So it reflects, I guess it would reflect badly on him if he was actually, working with apparently these people that did all this bad stuff. So who knows? But to end the stream, Bear F with Squirtle and a controller in the picture with the $5. Have you played any of the Batman Arkham games? I played a lot. I remember like when Arkham Asylum came out, I borrowed it off a friend. I borrowed that and he got to borrow. I can't remember what game he borrowed off me, but yeah, I didn't play Arkham Asylum heaps. I just played it a bit, but I played a lot of Arkham City and a lot of Arkham Knight. So I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights and also the Suicide Squad game, but that's a fair while away. So yeah. In regards to Gal Gadot, no, Zack Snyder, I don't think should be in charge of. Well, that's the thing. I don't think Zack Snyder should be in charge of the main DC universe because it's obvious that he doesn't like doing proper adaptations. He likes to give his own spin on things, and you're just going to upset people. And also, the box office stuff wasn't that great for Zack stuff. Like all the movies sort of underperformed that he made. However, if they wanted to do a Snyderverse on HBO Max, fair enough. The issue around that is that like this is me guessing, but I don't think he'd be able to use any of the movie characters. So anyone that's actually in a movie, I don't think he'd be able to use in his movie. So he'd have to be using some different type of character in his Snyderverse, and I don't know what he would have set up and stuff like that. So, and there's that rumor that he's going to sign a Netflix deal for his production company, which would be super smart because he's not only giving himself creative freedom in regards to that, but he'd be giving many, many different people jobs for the foreseeable future. So he'll probably sign that Netflix deal, which I think will be fairly smart for him. But yeah, I don't think he should be in charge of the main universe. And I like Batman v Superman, but it's not he shouldn't be in charge of it. But yeah, I think that the last question I wanted to answer. Okay, in regards to Gal Gadot, if she would be the key, like she would be the key in regards to this thing. If she said something, that would be the one that people would listen to because I think she's the one that's been. She didn't even tweet about this. She hasn't said anything about the Snyder Cut as well. All the other actors have. She's the only one who hasn't said anything about the Snyder Cut. So, in like regards to a public like obviously she was in FanDome, but not on like any sort of social media. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she said anything because that'd be I think the key, if you want to call it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, as I said, drop a like on the stream. It'd be great if you could do that. I might have a video out tomorrow, but I think I'll upload it 2 days from now. 2 days from now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.